right, so guys,
let's get into it.
All right.
I got to set this up because
set it up.
With how you're saying, I know you don't even know what I'm getting to.
Okay, I know what you're getting to, but go ahead.
Did you see how the game ended last night, Paul?
I did. Go ahead.
Well, the rundown, which I'm now reading for the first time, which I never do that.
Yeah.
But I admit I didn't read the rundown.
Yeah.
Says Cavs versus Magic. That's all the rundown
That's all it says. So,
well, I said
all right, go ahead, set it up.
For anyone who didn't see how this all went down, the Cavaliers were down 13.
Because Vince Cellini wants us to make sure we're talking about basketball.
Yes.
Vince Cellini, who's asked to be a guest on the show, wants to make sure we're talking about basketball.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That's a whole side story.
That's a whole story. I shouldn't even have brought it up.
Shouldn't have brought it up.
My bad.
So the Cavs were down 13 with about 5 minutes left. They cut it to 2 with 17 and a half seconds left. Then there was a errant pass by Desmond Bane to Paolo Banchero that went out of bounds. They said it was off Cleveland. James Harden vehemently disagreed. However, they had already used both their challenges. If you use both your challenges, even if both are successful, which was the case for the Cavs last night, you do not get a third challenge. Cleveland was unable to challenge the play. The ball stayed with Orlando. They called a timeout, hit a 3 coming out of the timeout, turned into a 5-point game with 15 seconds left. The game was over. After the game, Chris Fedor of Cleveland.com, who was with the team traveling as the lone beat reporter for the Cavs, caught up with Donovan Mitchell, who had this to say about the idea of not getting a third challenge. Quote,
and I quote,
I'm having a hard time with the rule of once you've had 2 challenges and you can't get any more, especially when you win both. He went on to say, Steve, you take the next part of this. Maybe I'm biased because it happened to us twice in game-ending situations the past 2.5 or 3 weeks, but they are game-changing plays. It happened in Detroit. It happened here, both of them on TV. I don't know what the rule should be if you're winning challenges, especially on calls that are very obvious. I think it's something that should be talked about. Right now, if you challenge 2 plays, that's all you get. Win both, you don't get a third.
I mean, it's...
Pull your thoughts.
The rule's stupid.
It is.
NBA does replay so terribly.
Some of them take so long.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. What was the second? I know the first one was when Keon Ellis blocked the ball, and they said it was a foul. And then he got teched up for it. He got teed up for talking to the coach.
I know. And then
I was like, he ain't even saying nothing to the ref.
They should rescind the technical if you get a technical on a call that then gets changed after a challenge. Besides the point.
What was the second one?
I think you should get a technical foul for every flop. What about
I also agree with that. But the other call that he's referring to, Tyvis, was when they were playing in Detroit in that overtime game with no Harden, no Mitchell, and Jarrett Allen fouled Jalen Duren on the block. On the block that the NBA the next day said wasn't a foul. That was the other one they weren't able to challenge because they had already won their 2 challenges prior.
To be fair to the NBA, it's the hardest sport. There's so many things going on. And baseball and football's tough, but not like basketball. There's so many little things all the time. The players whine about every play. They never commit fouls. Luka Doncic is apparently the worst. Is he the worst?
He's really bad.
Yeah.
He chalked the whole play to be cussing the ref.
It's just the whole thing is ridiculous. But in the end, I'm going to be that guy again and say, who gives a rat's ass? Does it really matter whether they win this game against Orlando or not?
Well, where are they at in the?
They know the rule. The rule is the rule.
I mean, I hear you on that, but
it's really. But, I shouldn't say that, but
no,
that's because you back to the meaningless basketball.
I hate March and April basketball.
But
I want the playoffs.
To the larger, Donovan's 100% right.
He's right, yes.
Because you're rewarding incompetency by the officials. They've already screwed up twice.
Yeah.
Now you're letting them off the hook for any calls in the future?
I think in the NBA and in the NFL, if you keep getting it,
if you get it right, you should keep
getting it right.
Yes.
You should keep getting more chances.
Yes.
Why should they be penalized for the ref screwing up?
It's like the ABS in that spring training game. That ump missed 5 calls? In an inning and a half or something like that?
It was terrible.
And you're right. It's a hard game to officiate because it's so fast now, and the players are more athletic and better than ever before. I've talked to guys about, do you want a 4th official out there? And the answer is absolutely not. The court is cluttered enough. It's crowded enough with 10 guys and 3 officials. We don't want a 4th official. So I don't know what the there is no great solution. Certainly, they should be able to speed up this replay process because I know that's a big sticking point. It disrupts the rhythm of the game, and these replays can go on for multiple minutes at a time. Football seems to be, for the most part, pretty good.
They've gotten it.
unless it's like a change of possession or you got to go back and find the spot and stuff like that, then it may take a little bit longer.
Has now gotten good and fast. It's the easiest, though.
Yeah.
But it's so easy.
But the basketball, I don't understand why it takes as long as it does on some of these. But if they can speed it up, then you should not be punished for being correct.
Well, in basketball, they're doing it at the arena instead of having somebody.
Well, they used to do it in New York. New York replay officials handled everything.
Right.
And players hated that too.
You know it's bad when somebody walk up to a ref and say, "On my life, on my whole life."
Did he say that?
I ain't touched that ball.
Yeah, you want to see it? Steve, take the Harden one.
Oh, my life.
Watch his face. This was the call that they couldn't challenge, by the way. So Bane makes an errant pass to Banchero. It may or may not have hit Harden last. It may or may not. Who knows? Harden immediately says, challenge, challenge. It's off Magic. It's off Magic. And then, on my life.
Yeah.
On my whole life.
But players never think they touched the ball. And never, I don't know. Could you tell? Is there an angle where you could tell whether it hit him or not?
To me, it looked like it was off Banchero. I'll be honest.
Yeah, but I can't
tell.
From this angle, I could not find the other angles of the replay.
Oh, yeah.
There was an angle from the front where you could see the hands.
And it looked like it hit Banchero?
It looked like it hit Banchero's hand, and Harden's hand was behind Banchero, but never actually hit Banchero's hand.
Yeah.
Either way, Cavs shouldn't have been in this position. They didn't play particularly well yesterday. But I talked to a couple different NBA guys this morning, including the conversation Ant heard this morning. The consensus was there's too many stoppages in the NBA already. And, Jason, you've sat with me at games, and I know Earl sat with me. I hate all challenges. I wish they would get rid of all – in all honesty, I would abolish all challenges. But if you're going to allow 2 challenges – the idea that you shouldn't get a third if you're successful on the first 2 because of ref incompetence makes no sense.
Why would you get rid of all challenges? Don't you want calls to be correct?
I hate stoppage. I'd rather just live and die with what the ref said and let's move on and play. I don't like the stoppages. There's too many stoppages.
You don't like them because they're too long.
I don't like stoppages at all. I'd rather just let the ref go.
There's timeouts.
There's too many timeouts.
And there's too many timeouts too. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Timeouts are stoppages.
But those stoppages are part of the game. The challenges in a first quarter over whether or not that play happened is stupid. I think if you're going to get challenges, if you get the first 2 right,
why would anybody ever challenge in the first?
Well, that's
dumb.
In the first half, I don't know that I would challenge anything in the first half.
Yeah, no.
Let it go. It's the first half. Save them.
The only thing I would ever, and I don't even know if you could challenge this. I don't know the NBA well enough. The only thing I would ever consider challenging in the first half is there was a guy getting kicked out of the game or something like where it could affect the whole game like that.
Sure.
But on whether it's inbounds or out of bounds,
foul
that's stupid.
It happens every game, Bull.
It's so dumb.
They do it every game.
I would save it for. Based on the rules, knowing you could only have 2 challenges no matter what, I would save my challenges for the fourth quarter. And I know all points count the same, but still.
I watched this game and I had a thought last night.
What was that?
The Cavs need Jarrett Allen.
So funny because Dustin said the same thing on the podcast.
I was
this morning.
like, the paint.
Isn't that funny?
They was down there. Boy, I was like, man, did I see? Evan tried. I think Wendell Carter. Want to say he popped the game off and kind of dunked on Evan a little bit. And I was just like, man, maybe we do need Jarrett out there. His presence is missed.
Yeah, we do. Dean Wade had a typical Dean Wade game. 0 points in 20 minutes.
Dean Wade was bad last night. Yeah. Jalen Tyson was bad last night.
He's been
Dennis
off
Schroeder was horrific last night. Yeah. Those 3 combined for 4 points.
Tyson has not been good since Harden. He's been the only one that seems to have been negatively affected by the Harden addition. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Who's shooting a better field goal, 3-point percentage between him and Merrill since the All-Star?
Well, Merrill at least had a good game yesterday.
Probably neither Tyvis is the right
That's
answer.
a shame.
They both bad.
To the Jarrett point, it depends on which version you're going to get because I've seen a lot of playoff Jarretts that didn't do them a whole lot of good. So he's got to fix that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a lot of guys on this team where you're like, I've seen playoff blah, 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 and it's not good.
What is his injury?
The only way to change that is to play better.
What's his injury?
Mike?
Who, Jarrett Allen?
Yeah.
It's just he's fine. It's a knee bruise. They're being extra cautious with him.
All right. Should we leave the Cavs there and get to the
No. One more thing on the Cavs.
Oh, okay.
So down the stretch, and this is actually game related.
Yeah.
So Keon Ellis had 20 points last night. He was 5 of 8 from 3. Made 3
he's been
threes
red
in the
hot.
final minute and a half. Last 2 games have been his 2 best offensive games since he got acquired by Cleveland. Kenny opted to stay with Keon over going back to Jalen Tyson or Schroeder or whoever yesterday down the stretch. he's not going to go 5 of 8 from 3 every game. That's unrealistic. But what Keon Ellis has been doing over the last 2 games, Jason and I did an Ultimate Cavs show yesterday and talked about what each role player kind of has to do to solidify himself in the playoff rotation. Keon Ellis, Jason, is making a hell of a case in 31 minutes last night to be the first up in line when they need a kind of wing, smaller guy who can defend but also space the floor and make some shots. He's been really good the last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line on what Mike and I were talking about was you got to make shots, first of all. You got to make shots to stay on the floor.
Right.
But if he can be the best perimeter defender and make shots, he has a place in this rotation.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with last night. I don't know that Dennis Schroeder has a place in this rotation. I think he gets squeezed.
Yeah, because he's played really well overall.
But I don't know that
you're right. I mean, we've seen in recent years good defenders like Isaac Okoro and Dean Wade who can't make a shot in the playoffs. You can't play them.
They become unplayable. And I'm not saying Keon Ellis has to make 5 threes every night.
No, but the other team's got to respect it.
Yeah,
right?
If he makes 2, 3, like that's what you need.
Right.
And that's Mike and I were saying at the end of the podcast, if the first one goes in, it changes so much in a playoff game.
Right,
the first one doesn't go in a regular season game, it don't matter.
Yeah.
When Isaac Okoro's alone in the corner and he's shooting a 3, and that first one does not go in versus when it does go in, it's a big difference.